Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Thursday, and this week we have been talking about things that we see in the sky, right? We talked about the moon and the stars and airplanes and birds and clouds. So today, the book that I picked really doesn't have anything to do with that. The reason I picked this book is because earlier in the week we read about that little kitty who found the moon and thought that it was a bowl of milk and the adventures that the little cat went on to try to find them. So today I just picked a really fun book called If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. Now, you probably have heard some of the other books in this series. If you take a mouse to school, if you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a pig a pancake, if you give a pig a party, there's a whole series. The author is Laura Numeroff. And the illustrator is Felicia Bond. And I'm going to say this again. I always do. This is one of my favorite books. This book is called a circular book. So what that means is the very first thing that we hear, the first event that we see happening, there's going to be a whole bunch of other events that go on and kind of make a circle, but then it's going to end up back at that very same event. So this is a fun book. And this is, of course, fantasy. The things that are going to happen really couldn't happen in real life. If you give a cat a cupcake. If you give a cat a cupcake, he'll ask for some sprinkles to go with it. When you give him the sprinkles, he might spill some on the floor. Cleaning up will make him hot, so you'll give him a bathing suit and take him to the beach. He'll want to go in the water and build a sandcastle too. Then he'll look for seashells. He'll find a few other things as well. He'll put them in his pail and try to pick it up, but it'll be too heavy. He'll decide he needs to work out of the gym. Now, before I show you this picture, it was funny because it says he'll find a few other things as well. Is that a few other things? Oh, goodness, no. That's many, many things. First, he'll warm up the treadmill. Then he'll lift a weight or two. He might even try a karate class. After the gym, he'll want to go to the park. When you get there, he'll see the rocks. He'll climb as high as he can go. At the top, he'll see the lake. He'll want you to take him rowing. Man, if I was this little girl trying to keep up with this cat, be tired already. They've done so much stuff.
I could be the cat.
You would be the cat. He'll be the captain and you'll have to row. Then he'll notice the merry-go-round and want to go for a ride. He'll want you to go for a ride too. You'll choose the horse with the purple mane and he'll get on the whale. The whale will remind him of the Science Museum. He'll ask you to take him there. And they've really done a lot in one day's time, haven't they? First, he'll find the dinosaurs. Then he'll visit the Hall of Apes. When the museum closes, you'll be the last to leave. On the way home, you'll pass by the beach. You'll help him gather all of his things. Then he'll want to race you. I know someone who always asks me to race. Do you always ask your your parents to race you?
I would take my bike.
When you get home, he'll empty the sand from his shoes. He might spill some on the floor. Seeing the sand on the floor will remind him of sprinkles. He'll probably ask you for some. All right, now make a prediction. Remember, I told you this book was circular, so we're going to end up back where we started. What at the beginning had to do with sprinkles at the beginning of this story? Cupcakes. And chances are, if you give him some sprinkles, he'll want a cupcake to go with them. So do you remember at the very beginning of the story, this little cat wanted a cupcake, and that's what started this whole series of events, right? One thing caused another. Let's go back and see if we can remember that, because we also talked about cause and effect this week. So when the cat initially got the cupcake, what did that make happen? Right, he wanted some sprinkles to go with it, and then he made a big mess. That was funny. All right, let's go to a different part and see if we can do the cause and effect. All right, let's see if we remember this part. What made, so we have to go backwards this time. I'm going to give you this. We're going to go opposite way. What made the cat think he needed to work out at the gym? What caused that to happen? Do you remember? Think about it. Right. He got all of those things at the beach, and it was so heavy that he thought he needed to work out to be able to carry it. Really, he probably should have just found some smaller items or maybe some less items. But yeah, that's what made him go to the gym. All right, let's try another part. Okay. All right. When they were at the merry-go-round, he was on that big whale, and that made him think of something, and then he decided he wanted to go somewhere else. What did this remind him of? What did this cause to happen?
Go to the museum.
Yeah, to go to the science museum, because he had remembered seeing a whale at the museum. So that made him want to go there. Good. All right, let's try one more cause and effect. All right, when they got home from all their day's adventures, and I like this picture because look at this little girl. She's covered in seaweed. She's carrying all the stuff, and the cat's just hanging out doing nothing. But the cat was shaking out all of his sand. And when the sand hit the floor, what did it remind him of? And then what did it?
Sprinkles.
Yeah, it reminded him of sprinkles, right? Because the sand is kind of gritty like sprinkles. And then he decided, oh, I want sprinkles. And then he decided, oh, I also want
Cupcake.
a cupcake. So this book is a great book for first graders to try to get and to read. The words are pretty simple. And even if you don't know them all, you could have an adult read it once to you. And I bet after that, you could probably read most of it on your own. All right. Have a good Thursday.